What's happening, all you hep cats and groovy chicks? Welcome back to the Babbling Bards podcast.
A podcast made by XENITES.
For XENITES, we're your happy host. I'm Trista.
And I'm Liliana.
And the two of us make up the Babbling Bards. The electrical part of the show makes up the podcast. Woohoo!
Okay.
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 We have a pretty spiffy episode for you today. One of my favorites in season 3, anyhow. Been there, done that. Yeah.
Yes.
How many chakrams would you give Been there, done that?
I'd give it 5.
Would you?
I like it. It's funny.
It's
It's entertaining.
Joxer gets killed. You know, actually, all of them die at least once.
Uh-huh.
Joxer dies 3 times. Argo dies once. Xena dies once. Gabrielle dies twice.
Okay.
True story.
I read that somewhere.
Did you?
I did. And I was like, huh?
Yeah. Because Joxer gets killed, you know, with the sword. First time. Xena kills him with the chakram. And then, we spit on your houses!
Ah, okay.
Then they all get killed.
Okay, got it. Okay, now it makes sense. Okay, I forgot about that part.
Dude, it would have sucked if the day hadn't kept repeating. Because it would have been like season 6. Boom, right there. It would have been terrible. It was like, well, at least Xena wasn't the missing link to get everything to quit going, you know? Because that would have sucked. I don't know, she'd have figured something out with Hades. So, we got a chicken at the beginning of the movie.
Rooster.
Huh?
Rooster.
It's a chicken.
It's a rooster.
Which is a chicken.
No, a chicken is a chicken. A rooster is a rooster. A rooster is the male one. The chicken is the female. The roosters are the ones that go cock-a-doodle-doo.
But it no, it doesn't lay eggs.
No.
Because it's
Joxer comes in with eggs in his hat.
Goose eggs!
Yes. But no, it's a rooster.
Sweet Equestra! This is I quote Gabrielle's first line in this episode to you frequently. Liliana will come in the morning.
Rise and shine.
Rise and shine, honey. Rise and shine. And I'll tell her.
Rise, but I refuse to shine.
Joxer got goose eggs. And then Enos dropped the horseshoe onto Joxer. Mm-hmm. And it was funny. And Gabrielle tells him he didn't hit anything important. So, we're finding out this first bit of the teaser is pretty much laying the scene. This episode is a nod to Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. It's actually voted as one of the 10th greatest Xena episodes of all time. And Xena's asking, for a blacksmith so that she can get Argo shod. And he's like, oh, well, there's a blacksmith, but he's from a rival house. And then it's like, okay, so now we kind of see that we're in the middle of this feud.
Right.
It's the Montagues and the Capulets, only it's not the Montagues and the Capulets. It's oh fuck, what's their?
I don't remember what their names are.
I've got it in my notes. I have it in my notes. Don't panic.
Okay. Minos and Lycos? Lycos?
Minos and Lycos.
Lycos or Lycost? Minos and Lycost.
Lycost, yeah.
Cost. Okay.
I found my notes.
Okay.
Don't panic. So, essentially, we go out and there's Gabrielle and Joxer bickering like siblings in this whole first little bit. Because Joxer dropped the eggs, they're busted all over the barn floor, Gabrielle's gonna go get goose eggs, while Xena goes to look for the blacksmith. And Joxer's like, oh, you don't think I can handle getting the eggs? I got them to begin with. So, it's like, he and Gabrielle go one way, Xena goes the other way. And then Xena notices there's a fight breaking out because, oh god, what was the old man's name? Casca, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, it was. He had been hit by a car. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he names... I found it funny because he named Tibulus. And it's Tybalt in Romeo and Juliet.
Tybalt.
In Romeo and Juliet. And the fellow that plays Casca is the same guy that played the king in A Solstice Carol.
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't think of his name.
Was it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
it was.
Mm-hmm. Right?
I believe so.
Yeah, Norman Forsey.
Okay.
Yeah. See, I remember. Sometimes. So, pretty much, we've got a blood feud going on between these two houses, and nobody even remembers why. That's the kicker.
Yeah, that's true.
So, Joxer, Xena turns around because she's heard all this disturbance. Joxer jumps in.
Mm-hmm. He gets in between the two that are having a sword fight, right?
Mm-hmm. And he dies. And one of your most famous lines, right here, just to point out, in Romeo and Juliet, one of your most famous lines in the balcony scene that Juliet says is, "A name, what's in a name?"
Uh-huh.
That which we call Rose Steel. Joxer says when he's trying to step in the middle of them, "What's in a name?"
Mm-hmm.
And then he bites the big one. Gabrielle's trying to get Joxer out of trouble, and Joxer's already gotten in trouble.
Yep.
So
he got run through.
He got ran through with a sword. I clapped a little bit.
She got just a little too happy.
But I'm getting better, because this time I just waved when we rewatched it. I just waved. I did good. Because we rewatched it with Ari, and she had no idea what was happening, so I had my hand back behind her head, waving to Joxer, all giddy. So we get to hear the funeral dirge.
Mm-hmm.
Again, for the first time in a chunk.
In a while, yeah.
Yeah. And then Gabrielle's all feeling guilty, and we've got our first little bit of subtext in the episode. I know, that's my job. So, you sure you don't want to take this one? No?
No, that's all you.
That's on my honey-do list, guys.
Mm-hmm.
So, while Xena is trying to comfort Gabrielle, because Gabrielle's heart is hurting beyond words. Mm-hmm. I mean, she took Joxer's death harder than she took Perdiccas's death. She mourned Joxer longer than she mourned Perdiccas. Anyway. So, Xena looks over and she sees, Hermia and Neron. Neron. They're watching, and he's got his arm wrapped around Hermia, and there's this moment on Xena's face that she looks like, oh yeah, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. So she tells Gabrielle, she's like, hey, come here. And they lay down, and they have a cuddle while they're talking, and she's telling Gabrielle to rest, and Gabrielle's like, yeah, I don't think I can. So, the cuddle is very suggestive. When they lay down, you can very clearly see Gabrielle's hand go over Xena's boobie, and then caress around the side, and go back up, and her thumb hooks in the loop at the bottom of Xena's breastplate. It's on our, on the Babbling Bards webpage. I put a GIF on there, the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
But somebody had pointed out on one of the subtext forums that when you're assuming Gabrielle's hand has gone down the side, Xena picks her head up and looks down. So they were like, where exactly did Gabrielle's hand go? Before it looped back there. So, first little bit of subtext. She was just comforting Gabrielle, right?
Right.
Okay. And then the chicken crows the next morning and everything.
Rooster.
The rooster crows the next morning. I don't see the difference. They're all chickens. I mean, you don't cook roosters. They're tough as shit. You cook the hens. You cook hens, not roosters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, rooster crows. We're back to Joxer. Rise and shine, everybody! Rise and shine. And then you're like, okay, the fuck just happened.
Uh-huh.
Because then the 3 credits play.
And then obviously Xena is, like, shocked, because he should be dead.
She gives him this like, weird, awkward hug. And then gives him a noogie.
Uh-huh.
And she's thought everything was a dream.
She did.
And then when Gabrielle says, I'll rise, but I refuse to shine.
You can see the look on her face. It's like, wait a minute.
And then Joxer says the bit about goose eggs.
He's all like, step back. He's just like, why? She's just like, okay, well, don't. And then we have the... No, she does shove him back.
Mm-hmm. She shoves him back, and he's like, well, you don't have to eat them. And,
this time the horseshoe lands on his foot.
Yeah. And then we're... Sweet Equestra.
Mm-hmm. And then she realizes it wasn't a dream.
Mm-hmm. So, then she tries, when they get outdoors, to talk to Joxer and Gabrielle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know? And Gabrielle, because she has the gift of prophecy, assumes that it could have been a vision. Joxer's like, you know, we're warriors, we've got second sight. And then Xena's like, it was too real. And then Joxer, you know, thinks, well, maybe I'm dreaming. But Gabrielle pinches him, and he's not.
Nope. And
then Gabrielle's taking it to heart because she thinks Xena's saying, well, you just forgot everything that happened yesterday. And Xena's like, you didn't forget, it never happened to you.
Mm-hmm.
Gabrielle's like, well, then what's there to forget?
Today.
But today hasn't happened. But it happened to Xena.
It happened to Xena.
And Gabrielle says yesterday, and Xena says, no, the other today.
The other today. She's just like, so you're saying that today is actually yesterday for you, but for us today is today because we can't remember that yesterday was today, right?
Right.
I don't get it.
Xena is so relieved because she thinks Gabrielle's understanding her. You see this relief just wash over her face.
She's just like, I don't get it.
And then Joxer gives a little nod to, you know, maybe we're all in somebody's head and they're making us up.
Well, and then Xena mentions that Joxer died.
Mm-hmm. And he passes
faints.
out.
And he faints. We had a funeral for him. You cried over him. And then Joxer's like, about Gabrielle, you cried over me?
Gabrielle's getting goose eggs.
Xena stops her because that's how he ended up dead the first time, was going for the goose eggs.
Right. With Gabrielle.
Mm-hmm. And then we have what's his name?
Tibullus
and Neron. Neron?
Yeah.
Neron again.
What jackass taught you people how to drive a cart?
But yeah.
And then Xena's trying to, you know, keep Joxer out of harm's way, and he's like, do you honestly think I'd be stupid enough to step in between two guys with swords?
Yes.
And they both say yes.
Yes. So this go around, Xena says that she's gonna go
Tells him
ahead.
to go to the alley.
Well, she says she's gonna go ahead and take care of the two that are fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and then Joxer and Gabrielle go to the alley.
Right.
They shouldn't have gone to the alley.
They shouldn't have, because then Gabrielle gets killed.
Yep.
Hurts my feelings. Didn't hurt my feelings the first time.
No.
Because wasn't a Gabrielle fan. Joxer asks again when they're in the alley, what's in a name?
And then Xena hears the commotion.
Son of a Buckeye.
He asks what's going on. And the person says that was
there's a stranger interfering.
And, yeah. Then you have Lord
Lycos.
Minos and Lord Lycos.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't they the ones that are like... They were the ones that were in the alley arguing, right?
Yes.
Okay. They're pretty much, you know, we don't need strangers interfering. Yeah. Pull out their swords.
And Xena interferes.
Mm-hmm.
Tells them to go home.
She stops them. But That's not where Gabrielle got stabbed.
She didn't die until the next one. That's when Argo dies.
Oh, this is the one where Argo died. Yeah. Yes, okay, that's right.
Now I understand.
Okay, because I was like, wait a minute. This is not... This we're off here.
Now I understand. Lucy Lawless, when they were filming this episode, said she had, like, these long lists of notes because they filmed everything out of sequence. Mm-hmm. So she had to know what temperament she was supposed to be in for each day. So she kept making notes and notes and notes. It was the most extensive noted script that she had while shooting Xena. Well,
yeah, because everything keeps repeating.
Well, she's like, it was supposed to be, low action, little action. We weren't supposed to have that much to do, and we were essentially shooting the same bits over and over. But it was more mentally taxing than a lot of the other ones were.
Mm-hmm. So they get to the stable.
Uh-huh.
And then,
Eidos wouldn't tell him which horse was Xena's.
Right. So, because he wouldn't tell him that they killed all the horses in the stable. And so, Argo went bye-bye.
That makes me very sad.
I know.
And you know what made me even more sad? It was that evening when Gabrielle's trying to comfort Xena because Argo's gone. If you look in the fire, you can see a horse hoof sticking out. And, like, my stomach twisted when I realized that was what it was. Have you ever noticed that?
No, I didn't.
You look and you see the horse hoof sticking out of the fire. It's like, oh my god, that is a morbid, sick, twisted joke. Why would you put that in there? Just, the mental imagery is enough without seeing it.
Oh, jeez. And then Joxer feels bad because he thinks, well, did they repeat it in order for you to save me? Then that means that Argo's death is my fault. So he feels pretty crappy.
He should!
But Xena tells him that, he's not the one that killed him. And then, what happens now?
The chicken crows.
No.
Oh my god, the rooster. Why is that so hard for me?
I don't know.
It's because I didn't grow up on a dairy.
Exactly.
The rooster crows.
Very good.
In comes Joxer. Xena's all excited because Argo's right there.
Mm-hmm.
And she is thrilled.
Well, at this point, she thinks that...
She's getting a bit cynical at this point.
But at this point, she thinks that, it's a new day until she looks over and realizes that
Argo's there.
Argo is there. Well, actually, she does sit there when Joxer comes in, and she does tell him to move. And he does it. He just says, why? And then she's all like, fine, don't move.
She's starting to get cynical because she's realized...
Yeah.
And then you got the sweet Equestra, and then Xena and Eidos both say, I hope I didn't hit anything. And Gabrielle's like, wait, what?
Huh? Yeah.
And they're trying to figure out what it is that's happened to Xena.
Yeah.
For this stuff to keep going on in her head. And Gabrielle's like, poison dart. It's like...
Well, Xena's like, it's not me, I'm fine. It's... The day is repeating itself.
Town's in the middle of a bloodbath.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got that little nod of Gabrielle kind of coming into her own, where she's starting to push Xena back a little bit. Because Xena's telling her, something happens today, something that only I can control.
Mm-hmm.
And Gabrielle gives her that pushback of, well, what makes you think it's up to you?
Right.
Because we're starting to see that more and more with Gabrielle's character as she grows. Because, after Perdiccas was shishkabobbed, Gabrielle's arc just started climbing up and up and up and up and up. Because, essentially, she turns into the warrior. But you get, snatches, especially at the beginning of Season 3, because it's leading right up to the rift.
Mm-hmm.
In between the two of them. So what you're running into is Gabrielle's given more and more pushback, and all that compiled with everything else that happens in Chin, and then everything that happens with Hope and Solon, and so on and so forth. You've got all this stuff because Xena doesn't like being pushed back. So you see you see it kind of start climbing more in season 3 versus the way it's done in season 2. Where season 2, Gabrielle's just kind of needy. And season 3, she starts stepping up as far as, like in the Fury, she had to step up and take care of Xena. And then she and Cyrene had that discussion it was so much like a spouse and a parent trying to decide what to do with the spouse of the spouse. When they had like a mental ailment or something like that. But I don't know, she starts growing up in season 3. I feel. She's seen more of the world and she realizes it's not always cupcakes, candy, and cotton candy. At this point. Okay. And corn dogs, but those are disgusting. So. And Xena, essentially tells Gabrielle, it's not that she's not trying to leave her out. She's just the only one that can remember anything.
Right.
And I mean, that's fair because if it were left up to the other two, they would remember. They would be reliving the days. I mean, they're reliving the days, but they would have recollection of what happened the day before. Make sense?
But was it really the day before?
No. It was the other today. But it didn't happen to them. It would have happened to them, too. You know what I mean? And then Joxer quotes, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Because if they had a common enemy, they would work together. So, and then Gabrielle's just like, well, who would that enemy be?
Like us.
And Joxer suggests it would be them.
Boy, he was right, too. And, Xena's like, well, best time to start a fight's before it starts. Break the cycle. And they're arguing about Casca again. And Xena's like, I gotta find out more about Casca.
Right.
So.
Because she figures if she finds out about this one, what happened to him, she can stop it. And then, boom, it's all fixed. But there's more to it.
Because at that point, Casca's the only common denominator in it besides somebody that's close to her dying. And then, dawn of the next day. The rooster crows.
Very good.
In comes Joxer, but Xena knocks him out.
He barely makes it in.
I love that scene.
He barely makes it in, and Xena just goes, whoop-a.
And boy, she did too.
Hits him, knocks him down on her way out. He's just like, what the hell just happened?
She runs, she goes and saves Casca.
And
he's deaf.
Right.
Hence the not being able
to hear the cart coming.
Not even the cart. To hear everybody screaming, Casca!
Right. So.
His hat falls off, he goes and gets it, like, what? Oh my god, look what they've done to my hat!
Well, then
damn me no
Xena threw her chakram to knock the hat off, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. So, obviously, he turns around because his hat just flew off his head, which saves him from getting hit by the cart. So, Xena would assume, okay, boom, I fixed it. No more fights. Right?
Wrong.
Is all done? No?
Not today, Satan. Joxer sings to her. Remember?
He sings to her? Huh?
Yeah, because Gabrielle's like, every morning you wake up in the stable, and Xena's like, yeah. Joxer says, well, what if you stayed awake all night? I'll sit up and sing to you. Go to sleep, Xena. The dance. Remember?
No, I don't. Huh.
And you're like, this is Joxer. I've tried that. I've tried everything. And then this is when they're ticking off trying to figure out what is causing it. Because she's like, it's not the Fae, it's not Ares, not something I ate. I have no poison dart marks, no Bacchae bites. And then this is our next little bit of subtext. Take it away, Joxer.
Is that a hickey?
And then the look on
Gabrielle's face. It's like, whoopsie.
Well, if you pay attention to the scene, when he says, is that a hickey, Xena gives Gabrielle this, slantways look, and Gabrielle, scratches the corner of her
and just looks away.
Oops.
Looks away with the look on her face,
I was reading somewhere, I don't even remember which forum it was, but everybody assumes that Joxer's looking at her neck, because she's moved her hair, no Bacchae bites.
Yeah.
Somebody on one of the official Xena forums too. I don't remember which one. Oh my god. But said that he wasn't looking at her neck. If you pay attention, he mistakes the scar over her breast for a hickey because they put it in A Friend in Need to explain how Xena got the scar, which like spoils continuity for A Friend in Need because then all of Xena's doppelgangers wouldn't have it, just Xena would. But I mean, it's a legit Lucy Lawless scar. There's not anything that can be done about it except for makeup. But I'll have to remember. You know what? That may have actually been on Xena Wiki. I don't know. I feel like it was Whoosh or one of those, though. I don't know. I'll have to double check and put it in the description.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway, there's subtext. This episode's just riddled with it.
Mm-hmm. So, she stopped the thing with Casca. So she figures, okay, it's fixed. So now the Tibullus and Neron start arguing about something else, right?
Keep your eyes off my cousin.
That's right. So now they have something new that they're arguing about. Xena's just like, what the hell? But, yeah.
And then Joxer pitches, the enemy of my enemy.
Mm-hmm. And then Xena tells Gabrielle to get Joxer to safety.
And this is when they go back to the alley.
This is where they go to the alley. And then when Xena realizes they're going to the alley, she's like, well, shit, not the alley. So we're in the alley, and this is where
Gabrielle
bites it.
She gets 86.
She did. And then we got her whole funeral going on. And then we got the rooster crowing again.
Mm-hmm.
And then Xena...
And then we got more subtext.
Xena just, kind of reaches behind her into the hay.
Uh-huh.
Reaches into the hay, feeling around for Gabrielle. And then she finds her, pulls her out.
She finds her. The subtext lies in because Gabrielle does, this little happy sigh squeaky thing. I don't even know how you would describe that noise.
Okay.
But they had pointed out on Cities for the subtext forum. It's one of the ones for subtext that I use. I use a few.
Mm-hmm.
I usually scout anywhere from 70 to 200 sources for subtext.
That's crazy.
Just so I don't leave anything out.
Uh-huh.
And somebody pointed out, her hand was awful low. And that was an awful happy sound that Gabrielle made. So, and then it kind of interrupted when Xena woke up and grabbed Gabrielle and hugged her. And Joxer didn't find that weird at all.
Joxer comes in, drops his eggs. Group hug!
He was so excited. Gabrielle's just,
Get off me! Xena kicks him away. He kicks him away, but he just comes right back.
See, he is just like the cat.
It's like shoo him away, and he comes right back. But yeah. So then Xena again is telling them about how everything just keeps repeating itself.
Horseshoe falls, save the old man. There's a duel.
Uh-huh.
Whole thing starts again. And Joxer's like,
maybe it's the rooster. So then we got the next day. Rooster's about to crow.
And it clears its throat.
And then...
They don't really clear their throat.
And then it gets a taste of the chakram. No more rooster.
It goes...
Then
feathers fly. Xena lays back down and goes right to sleep.
Right to sleep with, a nice smile on her face. She's probably thinking, fuck you, rooster. I have to carry you.
And then it crows again. The next
and
day.
she yells.
Yeah. I don't know why we have to stay here. And then Gabrielle says, sometimes it's best to do what Xena says. She'll explain later. You will explain, right? Which is another hint of subtext that was nodded to because she says it like a nagging, need-to-know spouse. So, And then Joxer's just being a man-child, which is what he does.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not staying anywhere unless I know why. Says, well, I need you to stay here. And he's like, oh, I'm a diversion.
Then he just, like, keeps, like, asking her questions. Well, would it be better if I was over here? And then to get him off of her with all the questions, he tells Gabrielle, did you know that Joxer simply adores you? And then he's like, huh?
Gabrielle says, huh?
Joxer says, huh? Like, yeah.
I got a fun fact for this. You want to hear it?
Okay. Go for it.
Xena makes the comment, he would crawl 50 miles on broken glass just to sweat in your shadow. Do you know what my fun fact is?
What is it?
That was actually a paraphrased line that Lucy Lawless actually said. When this episode was being filmed, they had recently told Lucy Lawless that Liz Friedman, who was one of the producers, was a lesbian. So Lucy Lawless made the comment, if I'd only known she's the first woman I've worshipped, I'd crawl 40 miles through broken glass just to wank off in her shadow. And so they paraphrased it, and then it was thrown into the script. Did you know that?
Didn't she ad-lib it in the script, though? I think I read that, too, somewhere.
She didn't ad-lib it. She suggested it as an ad-lib. Because I think she made the comment to... Oh, I don't remember who. I think she kind of made the comment to Renee, just as a flippant deal when they weren't even rolling. And it was, he'd crawl 50 miles on broken glass just to see you, just to sweat in your shadow.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, that's good, keep it. So they did. She ad-libbed a bunch of this. Because when Joxer asked, hey, is that a hickey? That was an ad-lib from Lucy as well. Because this was when they'd started gaining really a huge lesbian audience, and the subtext started being played with more and more, like among the writers. And Lucy and Renee started giving nods to the fans. So they'd sneak little bits of stuff here and there too, and most of the time it was kept in the episode. Anyway.
Yep. So the next day again, or same day, repeating again, Xena gets up, she stops the fight between the two that keep fighting. She goes into the alley and stops that fight, and then, Gabrielle notices that, once one fight is stopped, another one starts somewhere else, and it's like never ending. You stop one, there's another one. You stop that one, here comes another one.
It cracks me up that Gabrielle's comment is, I don't get it, they worship the same God. Because that's a nod to what's one of the chief reasons for war.
Religion
is one of your biggest reasons to have feuds and war.
It's ridiculous.
Apparently even ancient times, because it was not, and polytheism was rampant back then because the idea of one God at that point in time was just absolutely insane. The only ones that believed that were the Israelites.
Yeah.
The Hebrews. But anyway, it cracked me up that was the first thing that she thought of. Was, I don't get it. They worship the same God.
Yeah. And then she makes the comment that she wishes she had time to remind them of that, and then Xena realizes, well, that she has all the time in the world. Because, repeating. And then she notices a glass jar. And
it's such a pretty jar. It's like one of the little old school perfume bottles.
Yeah. And then she realizes it's Knight's Bane, which I guess is some pretty deadly shit.
Deadly, yeah.
And then Joxer starts off with, the enemy of my enemy is often considered my friend.
Go ahead, Joxer.
And he's just like, really? Yeah. So he was all excited about it.
He thought they were on the same wavelength. He's
So,
like, hear me, cowards! We are your true enemies. We spit on your houses. We curse your names. We laugh at your ancestors. Ha! Now, when they bond, and then Joxer screams like a girl.
Because all of a sudden, both houses have all their
They've joined.
arrows pointed at them, and
They joined in a front of unity.
so this would be the scene where they all die.
All of them.
Okay.
Except for Argo.
Right. And then here comes Mr. Rooster again.
And then
this,
Xena kills Joxer.
she's had it. She's had it with him.
You know, if she had been able to find out who had drank the Night's Bane and fix that, she would have felt so freaking terrible if she'd killed Joxer and fixed everything.
Yeah.
That same day.
But I mean, when she wakes up, you can just see the look on her face. She looks exhausted. So like, yeah. Throws the chakram into his chest.
This is my favorite Gabrielle part of this episode.
She like rolls over and just goes right back to sleep.
Kill him?
Tries to pull it out of his
She like
chest.
steps on his
Steps
chest
on
trying
him.
to yank it out. It's awesome.
And Xena's just rolling over, sucking on her thumb, sleeping.
Which was ad-libbed by Lucy. Lucy decided to suck her thumb. And she went back to sleep.
And then we got Rooster again. Xena's already up, getting ready to tackle the day. Apparently she's tied up Gabrielle and Joxer, right?
Uh-huh.
She gagged Joxer, though.
No, she's got both of them gagged.
No, I think it's just Joxer.
No, she's got both of them gagged.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Because Gabrielle's sitting there, and the gag is, like, making her look like a bulldog. Because it's pulling her lips down. Okay. Because the gag had slipped.
Mm-hmm.
I read behind the
That's
scenes
right.
stuff,
That's right.
The gag had slipped down.
That's right.
So it was pulled backwards and down.
That's right. Okay. So, first place she goes is to the medicine hut to find out about the Night's Bane. Mm-hmm. And then the apothecary tells her that it's missing.
She's like, I didn't sell it. And she's like, well, I remember that. It's lethal.
Right. And, Xena asks, has anybody dropped dead lately?
Nope.
No.
And then it's Altara?
And, yeah, she goes to, yeah.
Altara. Who was the midwife?
The midwife, that's what. I was trying to think, what was her title thing?
Yeah, she was the midwife. She delivered babies in both houses.
Right.
And she was giving Xena a history lesson.
Mm-hmm.
And she made terrible muffins.
No, they're lovely. So, yeah. So she tells her stories about the two houses. Mm-hmm. And, yeah.
And Xena gets a history lesson.
Uh-huh.
Then the day starts back over. Mm-hmm. And then it's Xena that's all excited and rise and shine in everybody.
Right, she gets up, rise and shine, everybody.
Rise and shine.
Shoves Joxer out on her way out. Gabrielle pops up out of the hay, like, oh.
Like, what just happened here?
And then later on, obviously,
my favorite quote.
Obviously, Xena has filled them in once again on what's been happening, and Gabrielle's just like, we've repeated the day that many times.
Do it. Do the fast talking part, honey. Do the fast talking part.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Let's see.
Do it.
No, yes, no. I tried that. Yes, both ways. No, I don't know. No again. Are there any more questions? Good.
Very good. A little bit of subtext there when Xena says yes.
Yes, both ways.
Both ways. She, like, wiggles her eyes at Gabrielle. They're like, so. And we're fighting with Tibulus and Neron again about Tibulus's cousin, who we find out later is the one that ingested the Night's Bane. Mm-hmm. And then...
So, she breaks up a fight again, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then...
Well, she tells them,
the two that are fighting, she tells them that they're brothers.
Yeah. And the man that kills his own brother is cursed forever. Uh-huh. And she tells Tyus, Lenoris is also your father's son. Mm-hmm. And then the midwife said, that's right.
Yes, that's right. Everybody's just like, ooh, really?
Got another fella. So. I know who my ancestors are. My father was run down.
Almost run down.
Uh-huh. Because of the careless driving of Minnow scum, and Xena says, no, it's because he was deaf.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what'd he say?
What?
And then Lord Lycos speaks up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't need lectures from a stranger.
Mm-hmm.
And Xena tells him, nearly lost your wife and son in childbirth. It's like, yeah. Midwife thought they would die, and Xena's like, it's not the gods you should think. It's your enemy's wife. Mm-hmm. Lady Minnows came to your house and saved your wife and son. And then Lycos is like, yeah, she was a good woman.
Yeah.
And then he and Minnows bonded.
Yeah. Perhaps it's time that we talked. And, yeah.
Lord Minnows is like, are you an oracle?
Oh, she's just got a lot of time on her hands. So at this point, they think everything's fixed.
Right.
But they're still missing one little thing.
The Night's Bane.
Mm-hmm. And then we got the rooster crowing again.
Ah, you dirty rotten...
She's pissed.
Well, wouldn't you be?
She's kicking and screaming like, God damn it, I thought I figured it out. But, yeah. So... And then she starts going over all the days in her head.
While Gabrielle and Joxer are
tied up. Are they tied up or are they just sitting there this time?
No, they're tied up. They're tied up because there's actually an oopsie in this scene. Mm-hmm. They're tied up from sun up, and then when the sun goes down, they've changed places. Mm-hmm. Joxer starts out is sitting on the opposite side of what he was sitting on to begin with.
Mm-hmm. So they're just sitting there listening to Xena ranting on about everything that's happened. And she's all like, oh, well, I stopped this, then this happened, and then I did this, and then that. So just going on over everything. And Gabrielle and Joxer just have these blank looks on their faces. Mm-hmm. Like, what the heck is going on? So.
And then she goes out, she finds Hermia and the vial.
Right.
And finds out that Hermia took it right after sunrise. Mm-hmm. Xena gets pissed off. She's like, oh, it's your fault. And then Neuron says, no, it's my fault, Mm-hmm. Made a deal with Cupid that tomorrow never came. And he's like, no matter how fast you run, you'll never be able to stop her.
Right.
Well, little does he know.
Yeah.
So, the next day,
mm-hmm.
when the rooster crows, Xena's figuring out the best way to throw the chakram.
Mm-hmm.
And she's climbing on all the different building structures and everything.
Uh-huh.
And Liliana learned something kind of cool about the sign at the end.
The sign that has the two bowls on it changes. Like each day, it changes.
The day stays the same, but the sign never does. The sign
changes to reflect what's gonna happen.
Right.
Like the first one, you got the images where they're just sitting there, mm-hmm. all calm and everything. And then the next one, they're standing up, kind of like huffing at each other, like uh-huh. something's about to go down. Mm-hmm. And then the other one, they're just in a brawl. So, yeah. I never noticed that before.
I thought that was kind of cool. She's like, the sign changes.
Yeah. I was like, oh.
I'm like, oh, that's in my notes. You can say that.
Yeah, I never noticed that before. But anyways, so...
This is where you get that cool little meme of Xena with her thumb up. Because, she's not giving a thumbs up. She's measuring.
Taking
so, aim. Yeah.
While all this chaos is going on all over the village, people fighting left and right and all over the place and throwing each other off of buildings, and Gabrielle's just like, you gotta stop them. And Xena, been there, done that, didn't work.
And that's where we get the title of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact for you guys as well, minus the signs
uh-huh.
on the ends. This is the same backdrop, same film set that is used in Liar, Liar, Hearts on Fire. When they're outside walking in Melodia.
Mm-hmm.
Same soundstage.
Yeah. It's funny because Gabrielle's trying to get Xena to, stop everybody from fighting. And she's just like, I'm real busy. Here, go play with Joxer. And shoves her into Joxer.
Don't worry, you can be my sidekick.
Uh-huh. So, yeah.
This is where Gabrielle's fighting with her staff, and Xena zooms in, snatches her staff.
Snatches it. Because she needs it to measure.
Yeah. She's got to get her angles right.
Gabrielle was just like, Xena, I could use my staff.
Like,
She's just...
oh, sorry. Throws it back.
Throws it back to her.
And Gabrielle's kicking the guy's ass, and Xena's all like swelled up with pride. Good girl.
Then we got the rooster again. Xena runs out.
Hits him with the door. Morning, Joxer.
This is where she does the thumb thing, right?
Yep.
The measure where she's gonna throw it, throws a chakram, and it starts ricocheting how many times? Off of a bunch of different things?
35.
35.
And let's give props to the sound effects people, because each time the chakram hit an object, all 35 times that it ricocheted like a pinball machine, there was a different sound bit used for every time the chakram hit, because they didn't want one hit to sound the same as another one. This is also... There was a debate once upon a time that this was the longest chakram throw ever done on Xena Warrior Princess. It was not. The longest chakram throw was in the episode Coming Home. But yeah, it makes it, though. Makes it in time.
Yep, makes it in time. It stops Casca from getting hit by the cart. It stops like the other fights, and then it finally
Shatters the bottle.
Breaks the vial.
And then Xena gets there right as the vial's breaking.
Right.
And then Neuron's like, now can you make peace between our houses? And she's like, just you try and stop me.
Yep. So then, yeah, we're at the square, and everybody's being friends now.
They're all happy.
But yeah. And then it's the next morning again.
And the rooster crows!
The rooster crows. And you know Xena's got the look on her face like, well, fuck.
Uh-huh.
But then instead of eggs, what does he have this
Turnips!
time? Turnips! Xena got very excited about turnips.
Which leads to another ad-lib and another subtext moment by the magnificent Miss Lucy Lawless. She hugs and gives Joxer a smoochie, and he says, well, there's a woman who really likes her vegetables. Gabrielle's like, are you alright? What's going on? He's like, life!
Life is going on at last! So I think she's relieved that the day's not repeating.
She tells Gabrielle, here's your subtext and your ad-lib. Gabrielle, you've gotta, I don't know, seize the day. And she holds the turnips very suggestively in front of Gabrielle's boobage area. And then juggles them just a little bit.
Yeah.
And Gabrielle's looking like, okay.
Joxer gets hit in the head with a hammer. He falls down. Xena and Gabrielle bust out laughing.
The end.
That concludes Been There, Done That.
It does. Except for the disclaimer. The rooster was not harmed during the production of this motion picture, although his feathers were severely ruffled. Right. However, a little gel and mousse straightened out the mess. This episode, very much so like the Furies, it was a holdover episode from season 2. Did you know that?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know.
It does. True story.
Okay.
There was also a little bit of nod to like I don't exactly know what you would call it. I guess the sexism that was around in the 90s. Because when Xena shows up to save Hermia, Hermia makes the comment of, I was expecting Sinbad or Hercules. So a big strong guy to come in and save the day.
No, it was the guy.
Oh yeah,
the boyfriend.
Neuron, sorry.
The Romeo guy.
Yeah, you're right.
Romeo. He's the one that said that.
The guys.
Yeah.
expecting Sinbad or
Hercules. Yeah.
And Xena's like, well, you got me.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, this episode's also a nod to not only Romeo and Juliet, but the movie Groundhog Day starring Bill Murray that was released in 1993.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
True story. And it was nodded. I've got all these notes. I'm trying to make sure I hit everything. Before it was used on Xena, it was used in Star Trek. And it was used in Stargate SG-1. But Star Trek, they used it, and it was known as the Star Trek Temporal Loop. It was used on it right before they used it on Xena. So, that's all I got.
Okay.
You got anything else?
Nope.
Nothing else?
I got nothing else.
Got nothing else?
Nope.
No special announcements?
Not that I can think of.
You guys want to make it to Z-Night Retreat? Nab your tickets at znightretreat.com. There are about 30 left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're selling out quick.
They are. Snatch them up. They're good people. They have good food.
Yep. And everything's included with your ticket purchase.
Yeah, usually when you go to a con, you have to pay for a hotel stay and your food and your signatures, autographs, everything.
Everything's included.
Any panels you go to, well, some panels you go to, workshops if you go to those.
Yeah.
Everything's included with the exception of massage.
Right.
They do have a lovely young lady on site that does massages. Those are paid separately. Anything, of course, if you want to buy it at the Black Wolf Market, which Liliana will be selling at this coming retreat.
I will be.
That's, of course, extra. They recommend you bring cash because not everybody has the technology to take a debit or credit card.
And it's because the internet service up there is kind of choppy, too.
Well, it's in the mountains of California.
So it would be best to bring cash because... yeah, the internet service is not very reliable.
No.
So besides the Black Wolf Market and the massages, everything else is included
in your ticket
purchase. Yeah.
So $680 bucks?
$680 if you're
an alumni.
Paid in advance.
Paid in advance.
But it's $700. Yeah, you get your breakfast, lunch, dinner. Mm-hmm. You get your cabin, all the activities, everything. I mean, you don't even, like, if you want an autograph from one of the people that are there, like Adrian or Steve, I mean, you don't have to pay extra for that. Just be courteous. I mean, be courteous.
They don't. The thing about retreat is they don't put a lot of focus on who's there.
No.
That's like, I mean, yeah, it's cool to get to kick it. With the guests, obviously, because Adrian's great. Yeah. Brittany Powell's great. Steve is awesome.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's a totally relaxed atmosphere, so you're not having to wait 30 to 45 minutes or even hours in line.
No.
And, I mean, they'll just walk up and strike a conversation with you. Yeah. They just, ask that you refrain from, like, paparazzi-style photos, because nobody likes that.
Don't follow them around taking pictures or being sneaky, because that's just not cool. Because when you're there, they're one of us. I mean, they're not like, oh my God, they were on the show. They're like,
they're participating. I mean, Musetta Vander played Gaga Ball with us.
She jumped in the Gaga Ball ring.
She played basketball with us. I was showing her how to shoot.
Yeah.
She'd never shot a basketball, and she's like, I don't know how to do this. And I'm like, oh, you hold it like this and just try to make it in the basket.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh. She's like, I'm getting okay. She was so excited when she made her first basket.
But, yeah, I mean, they're cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, they're just as laid back as we are.
Yeah.
It's like...
if you're cool with them, they're cool with you.
But that's... I mean, it's... like we said in the last one, there's not another experience like it. Mm-mm. So if you want to go, go. Yep. Don't postpone it. Don't wait on it. Grab your tickets and...
you won't regret it. I mean, it's
instant acceptance.
Yeah.
It's pretty badass. So... and anybody that's been will tell you that. Mm-hmm. I assure you. My name is Trista Holmes, and I approve this message. Anyway, I guess that's going to do it for us.
Mm-hmm.
We'll continue whoring out Retreat on the podcast until they sell out. You got nothing else? I got nothing else.
Got nothing
On
else.
Clover Road closed yesterday, so
Yep.
I don't even have that to whore out for Renee right
No.
now.
Oh.
That's it.
That is it. I mean, I can't think of anything else that's happening.
Mm-mm.
So, we got the 25th anniversary coming up
Woohoo!
in 2020.
In 2020.
So, we're pretty excited about that.
Liliana's excited about that.
We're going to have a Xena convention coming up. I'm so excited because I was never able to make it to any of the Xena comms, which always bummed me out. So, definitely going to try to make it to this one. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. So.
Well, you don't have teeny tiny humans to worry about now. They're old enough to take care of themselves.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know Kayla's going to want to go with this. She's going to want to go.
Oh, yeah, she will be there. Will she? She'll be 21.
Just go to the convention?
I don't know. I know they up Dragon Con to 21.
I don't know. We'll see. But anyway.
She'll be a poor college student. She's not going to be able to afford going to the convention. She'll be like, can I have it for Saturnalia?
She'll be hitting us up for a ticket.
Probably.
I'll pay you back.
No, that's what they all say. Alrighty.
Anyways.
I got nothing else.
Me neither.
Alright. So you guys, be a force for good. Do something nice for somebody else. Help an old lady to her car. Put groceries in somebody else's car. Pay it forward at a drive-through window. Just be nice. There's so much ugly. And we've got like a mound of Cheeto dust with hair in the White House here, and he's just oppressing everybody. Him and his entire cabinet. So, you guys, enjoy the rest of your day.
Yep.
Gonna be it for us.
Mm-hmm.
For the right now. And hopefully we will be able to get back on a regular schedule with podcast with you guys. Yay! Mm-hmm. I am so happy. Till next time, happy chakrams. And until then, Babbling Bards.
Goodbye.
Out. Or goodbye. Either way. See you later.